Help me, what was the relationship over here? So in the last class, we have given this particular problem statement as an assignment. Can you help me with the relationship between white space
What is
relationship over here? R is equal to N, we got it. C1 is equal to R. What about WB? WB is equal to what? So this is what we discussed last class, right? R is equal to N, C1 equal to R, and C2 equal to R. This is the thing which we left for you guys to figure it out. So can you help me? What is the relationship over here? WB equal to 2N minus C into 2 or R into 2, because R is the outer loop, R, right? And C1 and C2 are the inner loop. So two inner loop doesn't have the correlation. I hope I'm clear with that, right? Cool. Let's take it forward. So you have mentioned the relationship as 2N minus R into 2. If this is the case, can I simplify it as WB equal to 2 comma N minus R? 2 is common, right? Let's validate whether it's true or not. In the first case, N is 4, R is 1, 4 minus 1, 4 minus 1, 3, 3 into 2, 6, and there are 6 white space. And in the second row, 4 minus 2 into 2, 2 into 2, 4, there are 4 white space. So this formula works well. Now, let's take it forward and let's discuss few more pattern. Today would be the last class for the pattern printing. Let's solve this particular pattern. If n is equal to 3, you have to print something of this sort. And when n is equal to 4, you have to print something of this sort. So in order to solve this particular pattern, there are two ways you can approach towards it. The first, you can divide it into two halves, first half and the second half. Or you can divide it into two halves. This will be your first half and this will be your second half. I hope it's clear. You can divide it into two ways. If you look into the first division, number of columns in the first half are more, right? If you see 2, 1, 3, and 2, right? So the first half has more number of columns. If you divide it in the second way, the second half will have more columns, right? So we'll establish the relationship for the first column, like we'll establish the relationship for this particular part, approach 1. You can also give it a shot for the second one. And also, are you solving the problem statement in the HackerRank? Can you please confirm? Are you solving the problem statement in the HackerRank? That's that's the important aspect. Okay. So can you help me the relationship between R and also help me what all variables do you need in order to solve this particular problem statement. Can I say that before printing a star, I need to print white space? Correct. So you need white space. You need, can I say that if I'm splitting into two halves, there is C1 and C2? Or do you want to combine them into single C and print it up? Which way we should move forward? C1 and C2, should we combine and move forward? It's just about establishing the relationship. So let's look into both the ways. Let's say if it's C1, can you tell me what is the relationship between white spaces with the value of R or with the value of N? What is the relationship over here? What is the relationship between white space and the value of R? Can I say that it's N minus R? Agreed? Right. What about C1? In the first row, how many columns do we have? One. In the second row, we have two columns. In the third row, we have three columns. I'm talking about the number of star. So one star, two star, and three star. And can I say that number of stars are equal to the value of row? So can I say that C1 is equal to R? Do you agree with that? What about C2? What about C2? In the first row, there are zero column. In the second row, it's one. In the third row, it's two. So what is the relationship over here? Can I say that number of stars is equal to R minus 1? Do you agree with that? Okay. So we know that the outer loop, the outer loop is for the number of rows, right? This is the outer loop. And now we will have three inner loop. The first loop, so first loop is for the white space. Second loop is to print the star. And can I say the third loop is also to print the star? Correct? So this loop will execute for R time and this loop will execute for R minus 1 time. If both the loops are doing the same thing, can I combine them and make them execute for 2R minus 1 time? If you do this, you can simplify the equation as R is equal to N, WB is equal to N minus R, and C is equal to 2R minus 1. So this is the way you can come up with the equation. If it's clear, we can move forward. You can solve this particular problem statement in the HackerRank. Okay. Now, let's look into the different pattern and see whether you're able to come up with the logic or not. So I'll draw two pattern over here. 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. 1. So this is for if n is equal to 4 and 1 0 1 1 0 1. This is for when n is equal to 3. So can you help me establish the relationship first? N is equal to what and c is equal to what? Sorry, r is equal to what and c is equal to what? R is less than or equal to n and r plus plus. And over here, what about c? C is equal to r and c plus plus. Now can I say that there are two things which I am printing? Either I am printing 0 or I am printing 1. Agreed? So let's say there would be certain condition when I'm printing 1 and there would be certain condition when I'm printing 0. Can you help me identify that condition? There are various way to come up with that. I just want you to give it a shot. What you are thinking? When n is odd, 0 position is even. When n is odd, when r is odd, 0 position is even. Okay, okay. Then what else? And r is even, 0 position is odd. When r is even, 0 position is odd. Okay. Okay. So what you can establish? What condition you will write it over here? Because over here, the condition whatever you will write, it's not with respect to specific rows, right? It is for each column. What you're printing is different. Let's say if I flatten this out, so how these number will look like? Can I say that 1 0 1? Oh, okay. I think, yeah, 1 0 1 1 0 1, then 0 1 0 1. Can I say that starting value is switching from 1 to 0, 0 to 1, and 1 to 0? Correct? It's alternative. Do you agree with that? So if something is changing based on the row, where I should write down the logic? There are three places. First, I can write it over here. Let me change its color. First, I can write it over here. Second, I can write it over here. Third, I can write it over here. So which position I should select? Out of these three positions, which position I should select? If I write, okay, if I write something over here, can I say that that will be true? That will be true for the entire structure, correct? If I will write something over here, at each iteration of outer loop, that value will change. Do you agree with that? Whatever I will write it over here, that is going to change at each iteration of the outer loop. Do you agree with that? So can I say that I can initialize start value to 1, or let's say I can initialize start value to 0, and over here I can write down a logic. If start value is 0, make it 1, else start value is 1, make it 0. So as of now, what to print, how to print, we will discuss. What I'm saying is, can I say that initially start value will be 0, s value will be 0? As soon as you will enter this loop, start value is 0. So what it will do? It will flip the value from 0 to 1. Can I say that for row number 1, the start value should be 1? Do you agree with this? Initially start value is 0. It went inside the loop. 0 equal to 0, condition true. If condition is true, it's changing start value to 1, right? Now, in the next iteration, can I say that R value will be 2 and start value is 1? So start value is 1, 1 equal to 0, condition false. If condition is false, it will go to the else part and it will make the start value to 0. So can I say that this logic, this logic will help me, from where to start? Do you agree with it? For each row, you will get it. Now what to print? Let's see. What is the first value you are printing? What is the first value you are printing? Is it always 1? Or is it the value that is of start? So for example, if you're in the row 1, the first value you are printing is 1. If you're in the row 2, the first value you're printing is 0. If you're in the third row, the first value you're printing is 1. And if you're in the fourth row, the first value you're printing is 0. So can I say that the first value which you're printing is equal to start? So let's take a variable p and initialize it to start. Now, if let's say p is equal to 1, what I have to print? 1. After printing 1, once you print 1, what is the next value you should print? In any of the scenario, if you print 1, what is the next value you should print? In the same row, the next value you should print 0. In order to print 0, it should go to the else block. Do you agree? And in order to go to the else block, what should be the value of p? Not equal to 1. Agreed? So let's make the p value equal to 0 inside this if loop. Now, let's say you printed 0. After printing 0, what next value you should print? After printing 0, you should print 1. Agreed? Whenever you will print 0, you have to print 1. So can I say that in order to print one, p value should be equal to 1? So p equal to 1. So this is the code. I know it's a bit cluttered, but do you get an idea how I approach toward this particular problem statement? So let me reiterate how I approach toward this particular problem statement. First thing, I make sure that, see, uh, okay, understand that. Let's say this problem statement is given to you in interview. Now you know this code. If you declare the start variable, p variable in the beginning, or you will keep down writing down the code like a robot. So for example, you written this outer loop, after that you have written this if condition, then you started using this C loop, then you have printed this if condition. So what interviewer will think, you already know this particular problem statement and you're just typing mindlessly. Okay. So what we did first, we first printed the structure. And also guys, I have seen that you guys don't have a habit to turn on their mic and have a word with me. Whenever a problem statement is given it to you in the interview, it's best to speak it out. Speak it loud. Why? It can happen that your thought process may or may not be correct. Do you agree with it? So if you're going somewhere wrong, interviewer will correct you, or he will guide you why exactly what you're thinking is wrong. If he is a good interviewer, you will see this. And trust me, if someone is not able to guide you during the interview, most probably he will be a senior in the company. Most probably, because one of the member from the team also take your interview. I'm not talking about the big companies like TCS and Infosys. They do the mass hiring. What I mean is, if the person who is interviewing you and he is the senior and he is not able to help you out in the interview, or you're not able to communicate well with him, so I think it's better you should also opt for the different company if you have the multiple options, because you have to deal with the same person on the daily basis. So it's also a good thing that he is able to guide you and you're also able to match his frequency. Okay. Sorry for the pep talk and we got diverted from the topic, but cool. Let's take it forward. First, we printed the structure, then we figure it out. What is the starting value that I need to print? Then we figure it out. So the starting value was alternative 1, 0, 1. And the third point was after the start, it's an alternative, right? If let's say start value is 1, the next value is 0, the next value is 1. And if let's say start value is 0, the next value is 1, the next value is 0. So we wrote the logic of third thing. Over here, we wrote the logic for the second thing. And first, we figured out the structure by finding the relationship between n and r. I hope it's clear. There is also simple pattern that exists. 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. Okay. When n is equal to 4, and this is for n equal to 3, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. Okay. Figure it out how you will solve this particular pattern. And also, I'm giving you this last assignment on the pattern printing. If you're able to solve, I think we are good to go. Take it as an homework, give it a time. What I feel you guys have the understanding to solve the problem statement based on pattern printing. Okay. So this is for n equal to 4. Figure it out how you will break this and solve it. Um, Please take the screenshot of it. Can you take the screenshot of this one? If you're done, we can move forward. Done? Can you take the screenshot of this as well? Okay. So try printing this as well. This is for n equal to 4, and this is the structure for n equal to 5. These are the white spaces. Okay, let me do it for n equal to 6. This is for n equal to 6. These are the white spaces in between. And you will find one more problem statement in the Haka rank. It is of the similar sort. Okay, when n is equal to 4. These are the white spaces. So again, in these two problem statements, you need to identify when to print white space, when to print start. Take it as an homework. Try to solve these three problem statement. From tomorrow onwards, if you're not able to solve, we will have the discussion. If you're able to solve, we'll start discussing the problem statement based on maths. Cool? Are we good to go? Do you want me to discuss something else? And also, I want to understand, are you guys available for session on Saturday, Sunday, weekends? Because if you're not able to make any session on the weekdays, we can shift it to the weekends. Shall we do that? Cool. So I'll inform in the advance if we have the session on the weekends or not. If we have the session on the weekend, we will try to have a session around for 2 hours. Okay. So that we can cover a lot more topics. Cool. If you don't have any doubts, we can end the meet. Shall we? Yes, you can send the code in the group. That will work. We'll also discuss how you can share the code. But as of now, if you're done and if you feel that you are not able to make the correct submission, do send your code. We'll review it. Anything you want to specify, Rudra? Go ahead. You can always turn on your mic and you can have a word.